YouTube Nation, Main Event TV, aka me TV, aka I told you earlier this week that gamers were the solution. Well, now today, games are actually the solution. That's right, games. And I'll get on that a little bit later. We got some great news for you. But today I want to say thank you for watching this show. Thank you for, sending me all the information. And today's show is brought to you by Kessin. Yeah, Kessin, because sometimes you need a strategy to do things and get things done. And you know what? It seems like today, these companies aren't using any strategy. And they keep doing this divide and conquer bullshit, and they keep failing time and time again. And we catch them on their bullshit, or should I say, evidence as usual. And let's get into this today, because today we're going to start off with Sony. That's right. Now, you guys already know, I know Sony, they got hacked again. I know, but that's not all right? Because I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to say their accounts were compromised. I'm not going to say they were hacked, because PSN technically wasn't hacked. It wasn't PSN. The new security system actually caught all the attacks, so that wasn't the problem, all right? What Sony is saying, that's what Sony is saying, that the accounts that were compromised went through a third party of Sony's. So pretty much, they strengthened the PSN, but didn't strengthen anything else around them that they, that they're partnered with, which is a problem, all right? So 93, 5, 6, I don't know by now what it's up to, but 1,000 plus have been compromised. And they say if you haven't received an email yet about this, 9 times out of 10 that means that your account hasn't been compromised, okay? Now, guys, I want to talk about this because I know a lot of people want to say Sony deserved it, whatever. You know what? Yeah, they deserved it. They deserved it. For all the bullshit they pulled, they deserved it. I'm not going to sit here and lie, all right? But a lot of you guys have been messaging me about Xbox fans. Have been coming out and saying, haha, you were hacked again. Once again, this is why you buy an Xbox. Well, you know what, Xbox fans, and I'm not saying just fans, I'm talking about the fanboys, all right? Yeah, you guys, you have realized that you've been hacked as well, right? So both systems, both companies have been hacked. They've been compromised. And I'll get into this because there's a guy that goes on, apparently he runs a blog, and his account was hacked, all right? And he doesn't know how it was hacked, and he went through this whole nightmare to get his account back. And it's sad because when you read the article or whatever that he wrote in his blog, it's just they wouldn't even tell him what was compromised, what personal information was compromised. All he knows is that his account was hacked, right? And then the money was spent in the marketplace. That's all they know, all right? He couldn't change out his credit card. They shut down his account, and then he got it reopened again. But all they offered him was a month free of live. That was it, a month. Because he was compromised. He goes on to say that not only was his account hacked, but then slowly but surely, other accounts were hacked, one by one. So when Sony gets hacked, it's like blowing out a tire. It's like it's just all at once. It's fucked up, all right? But with Microsoft, this has happened since September. So you have a slow leak. That's what it is. There's something on Xbox Live that you're paying for that is still being compromised with accounts. And you know what? Microsoft isn't letting people know exactly what personal information is being leaked. And I think that's wrong because at least Sony told you what was happening. It took them a while. We jumped on them. And then they offered something. But Xbox isn't even telling people what personal information is being compromised here. They're not even telling people. And that's a problem, especially when it comes to your personal information. All right, so Xbox fans, back it down. Take it down a notch. Seriously. Now I want to move on. Because EA, now check this out, guys. EA has really fucked over people, all right? Now, for those, we talked about this before. If you sign up for Origins, that you'd have to agree to the terms of service where you can't sue them and that they can watch you and all this other bullshit. Yeah. Well, if you had a profile or account before Origins, they switched it over to Origins without letting you know. That's right. They didn't let you know. They didn't tell you what was going on so that you could agree to this terms of service or not agree to the terms of service. No, they just switched it right over. That's bullshit. You can't do that to people. Also, there's a, they don't like old games, apparently. There's no access to DLC for games before 2009. Now, I say this because I have this thing right here where this guy, it's a transcript of a customer service blog, or chat, I should say, where he goes on to say how he has a CD key for this game, and he has all the DLC, and yet he can't activate it. And they go on, the customer service rep goes on to tell him, yeah, you can't play your game. It's real fucked up. The entire conversation is fucked up. And then what they do is they ask him where he got the game from, and he says he got it from Amazon. So you know what they tell him? Go back to Amazon and cancel it. That's what they tell him. So you're going to push your problem on Amazon. That's not right. That's absolutely not, that's ridiculous. There's no way you should be doing that, all right? But I'm telling you this now, speaking of Origins, Mass Effect 3, we all know now that it will have an online pass, right? Now, guys, we talked about this before, how I have an online pass, and you guys were saying, I don't give a shit, I play Mass Effect 3 for single player, and I told you guys before, about Uncharted. It's the same way. Who plays Uncharted for multiplayer? You play it for single player. And you Mass Effect guys did the same thing. We play it for single player. Well, guess what? Now you guys will have multiplayer. It will impact your single player game. And this game will have an online pass, not just for the PS3, but also for the Xbox 360. So both sides are getting it now. Understand? Because a lot of people were saying, you know, we don't have online passes for Xbox. Well, now you're getting them. They're slowly migrating. Understand that's taking over. So it goes on to say how the multiplayer will impact the single player game because this whole world conquest domination thing, you don't use Commander Shepard. You actually create a new character for this multiplayer. However, what you do is you have to seize land from other enemies, and it actually impacts your single player game when it comes to an overall state. So any of you guys who didn't want to do multiplayer, they're just saying it's optional, but if you didn't want to do multiplayer and it's affecting your single player game, pretty much leaving you no option. So for those who have to do this online, you're going to have to sign up for Origins, and you're going to have to, yeah, pretty much take it or opt out. Yeah, or opt out. Anyways, guys, I want to move on because more companies are really fucking up. And Konami comes out. This guy apparently, Tomm Hulett, comes out. Now, we know about this whole thing about Silent Hill and the fans and how they blame the fans. Well, Tomm Hulett regrets asking for fan opinions on the new HD collection, all right, which we all know now. The HD Downpour has been delayed. But anyways, he goes on to say, hey guys, sorry to say, but I think Devin and I being so involved on forums was a mistake. All right, it says, we wanted to demonstrate to everyone that the people in charge, he and I, cared about the series and understood the passion the fans had for it. Unfortunately, it's backfired. We have insane conspiracy theories, people asking me to lose my job, I get angry, threatening PMs about game delays, people are calling Mary horrible names, now people are bad-mouthing Jeremy Blaustein, who directed all the original performances. It's unbelievable. Certain fans have treated developer involvement as an excuse to manufacture pointless drama. Now, I'm going to stop there because, as we all know, gamers do push drama, but you know what? It's not just gamers. It's people in general. People like drama. That's why we have trolls. That's why we have all these other people in real life who act a fucking fool. Why is it that when you go to Kmart or something like that, people act a fucking fool? Alright? This girl's trying to destroy this girl. You work at fucking Kmart. What the fuck? This is not Dynasty or some other soap opera. Because people are addicted to drama. That's why. And I showed you last week how developers are addicted to drama when they jump on fans. But let's keep going because it says, this is where he fucks up. It says, nobody cares about Silent Hill more than I do. Not hyperbole, literally, nobody. Now you've started something because now you're questioning other people's fandom. It's always that one person who says, I'm the #1 fan, and then when they're saying, I'm the #1 fan, there's a guy somewhere around the world right now picking apart that game. Piece by piece, showing you that he's the #1 fan. And you have fans that are probably pissed off that you said that, and you've just opened up Pandora's box again. Alright, so you're not the #1 fan. You don't care the most than anyone else. Don't start that bullshit. Seriously, alright? It says, I'm tired of having that question every time I turn around, because apparently their question is fandom. But then he turns around and slaps gamers right back in the face with it. So they question his fandom, he questions their fandom, and guess what? Nothing gets solved. Anyways, he goes on to say, I hope you guys enjoy the games. I honestly do, and I work every day with the goal with that goal in mind. But this has gone too far. The games will speak for themselves. Please look forward to him. So pretty much he's abandoning the fan base. He's trying to blame the fans for this. Look, you have to understand, guys, that developers these days, we've seen this last week, developers have jumped on gamers a lot as of late. And I'm going to get on about this a little bit more later, all right? Because we saw what developers, what Battlefield had said last time, you know, cursing people out and carrying on. Well, I'll get into that a little bit later, all right? Now, I want to talk about this real quick because it says, Supreme Court dodges video game fee request. Now, for those who don't know, the big thing, remember when the Supreme Court ruled in favor of video games being, you know, art and First Amendment, you know, the speech and all that other crap? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I call it crap because what's going on now is just legal mumbo jumbo. Apparently, every video game company has been, you know, that was part of that, were hit with fees, and it came up to like $1.4, $1.8 million. It's a drop in the bucket for them, all right? Because it's combined, all right? Now, they want that money back from the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has dodged them. First off, I'll say it now. Video game companies, you're not getting that money, all right? It's just like any other time you go to court, you have to pay lawyer fees. If you lose, you'll have to pay appeals. If you win, you still have to pay. Suck it up. Suck it up. You're not, it just goes to show you that you're not above the law than anyone else, all right? And this is why people avoid going to court, all right? Because you still have to pay fees. Whether you win or lose, you still have to pay fees. Don't go back and ask for your money back. You're not getting it back. That's how courts are set up. It's pretty much a cash grab. Anyone who's ever been to traffic court too, you know that's a cash grab as well. All right? They don't care what you have to really say. But even if you have the evidence right in front of them, they don't care. Anyways, I want to move on about cash grabs because we're going to talk about this. Batman Arkham City DLC has been priced and dated. Now, guys, I want to get into this because this is getting too far. All right. Now, I will go on record before I say anything else and say this game will be amazing. All right. I've said this before. I'm not going to back down from this game and you know, trash this game and say no, it's not going to be amazing. But the DLC for this game is killing people. It's killing them. Look, this week Nightwing was announced. We know that Robin was announced. We know that Catwoman was announced. And now they're announcing Batman Beyond. Now, I know that sounds cool, Batman Beyond, I know. However, there's more to it. Now, GameStop is running commercials for those who've seen it. The Joker map pack, it's exclusive when you get it from GameStop. We already know that episodic content is coming. We know that online pass is coming. They're hitting you with everything, and it's ridiculous. This is not how Arkham Asylum started. They give you a full content game for the price, and that's why it did well. I mean, it was a great game, and that's why. Now I want to talk about this because OPM, apparently the guy who reviewed Batman, is pissed off at accusations of corruption. That's right, because gamers said, look, there's no way you can give this game, because he gave it a 10 out of 10, all right? And then goes on to say, if he could have, he'd have gave it an 11 out of 10, but he pretty much went off the chart with it, all right? Now, I will say this. Gamers called him into question, and they have every right to, but this guy goes off the handle. Fuck you, fuck them, you're nothing but a bunch of fucking jerks. I mean, this guy goes off, and this guy is supposed to be a professional reviewer, all right? I mean, he's calling gamers all types of names, and I'm reading this, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm thinking to myself, this guy has no business being in the business. And I say this because of the fact that you just can't go off like this when you're being hired to do something like this. You're a reviewer. You should know by now. Because he goes on to say, I understand how all these accusations, corruption, I understand why you guys feel this way. Well, obviously you don't if you're cursing them the fuck out. Obviously you don't. Anyone remember Batman Arkham Asylum? IDOS put a cap on how far, if you wanted to review their game, you couldn't give it but such a low score. What was it, like 7 or 8? You couldn't go any lower, because they had a cap on it if you want to review their game. So, of course, this one coming around, gamers are going to say, all right, what's going to happen next? Of course, they're going to, and especially with all the things that we've seen in previous weeks or months, where guys have admitted, reviewers have admitted of taking bribes and carrying on. I mean, seriously. Of course, this is going to be a problem. And for this guy to say he gets it, he understands, obviously he doesn't, all right? But seriously, read his comment. It is ridiculous the way he just goes off on people. But he says how hard he worked. Guy, you played a game. You played a game and you reviewed it. That's not work. That's fun. That's fun. If you think that's work, you say, oh, we got a deadline. Okay, so you have to stay up a little bit more to play the game. Guess what? If it's that fun, you won't even notice. Time will fly by because you're having so much fun with the game. Don't sit here and tell me, of course you look for technical things as well, but come on, guy. Don't sit here and act like what you're doing is backbreaking work. You're playing a fucking game. Seriously. And if you are that serious about the business, you wouldn't have released this loaded fuck you comments and all this. No. You'd have took it a little bit more serious and been more professional about it. You really would have. It goes to show you that we've seen developers go off on people. Now we're seeing reviewers go off on people. And both developers and reviewers need to realize that when it comes to games and when they sell, it comes down to the gamers and their word of mouth. Understand that. We don't need reviewers. No. We don't need all that bullshit. All right? That's just a middleman trying to get you to sell a game. We don't need that. If something's good and I have it and someone asks you about it, I'm going to tell them. Because it's word of mouth. That's how it's always been. We don't need review. Whatever. Anyways, I'm going to move on because I want to talk about how games can actually give high scores. You know, reviewers can give high scores when the game is bullshit. Because, for those who don't know, FIFA 12 is having a ton of problems. It got great high scores. However, they're admitting themselves that they're getting ready to come out with patches for big corrections because the game is so full with bugs and glitches, it's a problem. You sat here and rushed it, EA, and you know what? One of our own YouTube, was it Big Play Killer, caught EA again on their bullshit. And I'm talking about online play with NCAA.
What's up, people? Boy TPZ, man. Back again with another report. Sad day for EA. Look, man, got my dynasty going. I got 12 guys in the dynasty. I even got guys on the waiting list. Like, we got a competitive dynasty going on right now. We're going into our recruiting. We're switching some of the leagues around, or the conferences around, so we can have more user games. And I mean, we got people actually start to talk junk, so we start to get rivals, and we really get into it, man. I'm talking about this year we was gonna get it in, man. Everybody talking junk on a little blog site, going back and forth. And here we go. You see it. This is my dynasty right here. This is the dynasty. It only shows you where 6 people have done all their recruiting and everything. Everybody's done. Everybody has tried to do it. Well, excuse me. One of my guys can't even log in. He can't even log into the dynasty. And we were talking about it Friday, like, man, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. Gonna try to wait on you, whatever. Here we go. Here we go right here. Now I can't even log in. I can't log into my own dynasty. This is what I'm saying about EA. EA, finish the product, man, or give us an explanation of what's going on. You leaving a lot of people out here hanging. I mean, you really messing up your relationship with your customers. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Like, on so many aspects. At first, it was just gameplay. Now it's you can't even play your game that you brought. And like, this is something like if you buy a vacuum cleaner and it doesn't work, you can take it back, get your money back. We got some law, something needs to be changed about this video game stuff because these games are not performing at the level they're advertising, and now we can't take it back and get our full purchase price back. Something got to change, man. Something got to give.
And there you have it, concrete proof that the companies aren't doing their job. There's video proof, all right? And then when gamers jump on you or start complaining about something, you say, stop crying, stop crying. But it's okay for you to cry. It's justifiable when you cry when someone jumps on you. Don't judge us. Don't do that. That's bullshit, all right? You're not above everyone else. And you just try to justify everything you do, even though you've been caught doing bullshit. You know, I want to talk about this a little bit more because in more justification news, all right? Gabe Newell explains why PC games still matter. Now, first off, let me say that's a no-brainer because PC games matter because there's people still playing PC games. Just like console games matter because people still play console. And portable games matter because people still play portable. Do you get where I'm going with this? Seriously. So you don't need to come out and explain to the world why PC games matter. If anything you should feel bad for, it's the Apple people or the Mac people. Because when you buy a PC game for $40, $60, and you look at how much it costs for Apple Mac, especially back in the late 90s, early 2000s, they were double the price. And Mac people will be like, fuck this, I'm not buying this because it's too much, all right? And then the developers would say, oh, well, you have to understand that the coding, it takes so hard. No. I'm not trying to hear that, all right? Understand something. Reviewers and developers, since the internet, because that's what you use, the internet is your tool to sell things. Understand there is a good and bad to everything. Remember back in the day where we couldn't get in reach with developers? The only way you can get in contact with people is if you called the customer service or you wrote a gaming magazine and you had to hope it got into that magazine, right? All right, that was old school. Now with the internet, anybody can get at you. So when you have Twitter accounts and all this other bullshit, yes, developers, yes, reviewers, when you have all this stuff and you make yourself accessible to the world, people will get at you, all right? You have to be more professional. I don't have to be professional because I'm not in the business, all right? I do this for fun. I do this for awareness. I do it because I feel it's the right thing. However, a lot of you guys are in the business, and you have to understand that you have to hold yourself to a higher regard. You can't go out there and be like, fuck this and fuck you, and it doesn't matter, all right? Because I told you, reviewers, we don't need you. Without us, you don't have a job because we don't read your bullshit or watch your fucking reviews. You'll be out of a job. Developers, you don't understand. If you don't do your job right, gamers will do your job right. Someone will step up and make a game and it'll be better than what you've put out. And if you don't put something in your game that people want, people will mod the shit. Understand that you are, you know, we're behind the gun, but it's really pretty much facing you. So understand this really quick because I'm going to show you another video, guys, where a modder came out, and I'm sure some of you guys will like this, all right? Waluigi is now, with a mod, playable in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and he even gives you a tutorial on how to do his combos. I'm telling you, developers, watch yourself, because gamers are going to do it. And I want to talk about this Twitter thing real quick because, man, you guys sent me this link right now. I'm reading it right now about Battlefield 3 will have an online pass. And the reason it's going to have an online pass is because they can't afford the servers. Because they can't, really. They were talking the same Battlefield 3 that had $100+ million in advertising. The same Battlefield 3 who said that they were going to beat Modern Warfare. They want to see it rock from the core. The same Battlefield 3 that wouldn't let Bobby Kotick in to see the game, right? The same Battlefield 3 that all of a sudden started getting nervous and said, we're not in contention with Modern Warfare 3. The same Battlefield 3 that jumped on fans and said, you guys need to give us a break due to the fact that it's, we're working so hard. The same Battlefield 3 that decided that they were going to block fans and ban fans if they played on modded servers. We're talking that Battlefield 3, all of a sudden, you can't afford servers. You don't want people to play on modded servers, but you want them to play on your server that all of a sudden costs too much. Now, let's get something straight here, this online pass, because we've heard about this, I don't know how many times now. How many excuses have we heard now, all right? The online pass was because of used games, all right? Then we had to hear EA said it was newfound money. We all knew it was about control, and now you're going to tell me the online pass is used for, well, first off, the online pass is for top dollar games to make you, forcing you to buy top dollar games, even if the game isn't that good. But now we have to hear that it's about servers. Are you serious? Are you serious? The same servers that you roll over that you've had for years from game to game to game. That's all it is, all right? But you don't want to talk about that, right? Because EA said that in their oranges, remember a couple months ago, that they can waive the right to shut down a server anytime in multiplayer, anytime they want, after you bought the product, and then they can roll it to a different game. Remember that? So you're going to tell me now all of a sudden, it's a server problem. Man, look, gamers are smartening up and they're realizing what you're doing. You just be straight with them. Just be straight. Would you, seriously, gamers, would you want someone to keep constantly lying to you? Would you want someone to shake your hand and as soon as you turn around, stab you in the back? Seriously, this is bullshit. Come on, guys. Wake up. And I'm tired of hearing you guys say, well, it doesn't affect me. I don't care. So, because it doesn't affect you, not yet at least, you don't care until it does affect you. And then when it affects you, it's too fucking late. See, whatever. Get out of my face. But let's move on, guys. I need to talk about this. Warhammer 40K, this is more DLC. Alright, guys? Warhammer 40K Space Marines DLC has been detailed. However, the DLC is free. And the company's going to say that the developers, when they made the game, apparently they were making this during regular production, but they ran, because of time constraints, they ran out. So what they're doing is they're giving the fans the free DLC, which is how it should be. Which is how it should be. Also, there's been a Chucky video game announced. That's right, like the doll, Chucky. Yeah, then they go on to say that the fans demanded this. I don't recall demanding a Chucky video game. I don't recall anyone that I know demanding a Chucky video game or anyone that I've seen online demand a Chucky video game. I don't get this. Look, if you want Chucky to be in a game, go to Freddy Krueger out with Mortal Kombat and put him in it. That's how I say it. Seriously, I don't know where this came from. But if you're going to make one, if you really are, please do it old school and do it like the original Clock Tower. Like the point and click where Scissor Man was coming at you. That would be the best way to go about things. Or I guess the Heavy Rain route, I guess. But seriously, Chucky, a video game, could work if you do it in a certain aspect. I'll hold my judgment till I see more. Alright, now, guys, I want to talk about this. Activision officially announces Transformers Fall of Cybertron. Alright, just let you guys know. Also, there's new information about Saint Seiya Sanctuary Battle. Ninja Gaiden 3 will take up to 8 to 10 hours to complete, and the developers, they looked at the Kinect and said, Nah, we going over to the Move. That's right. That's what they did. All right. They said it worked better apparently. Now, also, this is being said because Kinect and core titles are still being toyed with. Nobody's figured it out yet. So let me get this straight. All right. No one's figured out the Kinect yet in this generation. Yet you guys are already moving on to the next generation. That's just stupid. Why don't you just work with what you got? This makes no sense. Anyways, also the Kinect for the Xbox 360 is being used to control underage game access. And anyone who's ever played the Kinect or seen how it works, that damn thing follows you. That's freaky. Anyways, guys, I need to move on. Namco Bandai to reveal Soul Calibur 5 character in mid-October. So put on your seatbelts, God knows what's coming. All right, Dynasty Warriors. That's right, I got some news for you guys. Dynasty Warriors, the next will feature 65 playable characters and 4-player co-op. That sounds like a lot of characters, seriously. Well, you're getting your money's worth. But let's move on. Square Enix is launching Monster X Dragon in Japan. All right, also, Fear Effect 2 Retro Helix will be coming to the PSN, care of Square Enix. All right. Also, Japanese trademark Monster Hunter Island, Kirby's Adventure, and much more. Now, look, I want to talk about this real quick because I have a lot of Japanese news. However, a YouTuber who's been going through the fight circuit by the name of Scott Popular actually started interviewing fighters, and was it video game fighters? We'll say tournament players. Okay, and they're here to tell you guys today the difference between Japanese fighters, or should I say video game players, and American ones. So let's check that out real quick.
So we got a motley crew of first timers and somewhat seasoned vets, and let's just go down the line. You first time people, tell me what you have learned.
Well,
it's just a short amount of time.
You guys, the first couple of days, like we were like not ourselves. We just kept on losing.
Yeah,
but you know what? Like after like those 2 days, we started like catching up with them. You know, their play style, how they normally approach situations, and what they normally do, and like if you put them in pressure. So right now we pretty much like got a hang of it, how they play. But you know, technically they still have a lot of advantage because it's a home turf.
Right.
I never really understood what it felt like, you know, if you're in a different country and want to play for something, until now when I came here. Now I understand, like when the Japanese people go to our turf and play and they win a tournament, I feel like that's the most amazing thing ever.
When Japanese players come to America, you get like thousands of people embracing them, treating them like gods and royalty and everything. And when we come here, we're just stuck in the back of the arcade. You know, we gotta wait in line like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know,
even Daigo and like Mago, they're just like regular people.
Yeah.
Like nobody that gives a fuck. Like they just want to like everybody just wants to play everybody. You know.
If y'all want to beat them, you have to play their game. You can't, you know, all that, you know, rush you down, you know, drive by. Nah, they play with their brain. They study data. You know, they talk amongst each other. So to get on their level, you have to like take it seriously. You can't take it like it's just a game. You know, you have to take it seriously. Like if you go to college and you study to be a lawyer, then you're gonna be good at being a lawyer. You know what I mean? So these guys, they live it. They just don't play casually. They play. They wake up. They got it at home. They play online. I think Mago works at an arcade. You know, they do like an all-night thing at the arcade. You know what I mean? They put that on YouTube and stuff. So these guys are in it. Like they in it hard. So. That's why they good. 4
years ago when you came here to where you are right now in your gameplay, what would you say has been the biggest transition? Because I know before you used to be hardcore Sagat. We used to talk about the dirtiness of it. But lately you've been playing with who?
It's like this. In the last game, you know, Sagat, first I picked Ken, but then I went with Sagat because, you know, Sagat got all the power, you know what I mean? But then like fools like Mago, Bonchan, they start figuring out these, you know, the frame shit, you know, like the, what do you call it, the Kara, uppercut, and all that. So basically, they got good with that shit. They figured, you know, something, a light came on, or, you know, one of the guys from Sega, like, or Capcom was like, look, what you want, you know? And then they got on, and then for me, I'm like, oh, what is this, you know? And then basically how I got good is I had to sit back and just watch them. I mean, I couldn't ask them a question, you know what I mean? And sometimes when I ask them a question, they'd be like, I swear they'll do that. I'd be like, how you do that? Wakanda.
I mean, I played before Evo. I came here before Evo to play. And I mean, it makes you play a lot more patient, a lot more reckless. Like you get away with shit in America that you will never get away with in Japan.
No.
You'll never get away with that shit. Yeah, it's shit don't work. I'm like, wow, I really can't do it. Like, he won't let me do it. Never, not once. I can't get one.
And you want to. It makes you want to keep doing it over and over because you're like, this works on everyone at least once.
Yeah, it really does. It makes you play a little bit more patient, a little more reserved. Like he said, the guys are really smart. They're really, really smart. So you have to take it to their level. And the same thing, like Ryan said, it takes a couple of days to get into it because you're playing like you're in America. You can't play like you're in America and Japan. This shit does not rock.
It's great to see how gamers can be two worlds apart, can have two different fighting styles, can have two different learning curves, and still get along while still being competitive. It's great. And to see that these guys went over there and learned a lot of fighting aspects, but the biggest important, at least the most important thing to me is they learned a lot about the culture, which says a lot. Now, need to move on, guys. I want to talk about this and more fighting news, all right? Tekken Hybrid is coming out with a $250 pack that will include an arcade stick. Now, guy, no way am I buying that. I'm going to be honest with you guys, all right? In high school, when I was a high school kid, my first car cost me $300. All right, and it lasted quite a couple of years too. $300. I bought a car for $300. You want me to pay $250 for a fucking video game? No way is that happening, Captain. I'm sorry. I'm sure that somebody out there will pay for it though, but not me. All right, not me. Anyways, in more news, games and browsers apparently are the future, say EA. All right, now look, I know a lot of people don't like browser-based games because pretty much I feel they're closed-minded at this point, especially after what's happened in the previous couple of weeks, how browser-based games were helping NASA find planets and carrying on. They only come up, unlike some other pay-to-play games, I'll say that. And speaking of the models, all right, let's talk about this real quick, because Fallen Earth developers talk about free-to-play model, all right? Also, in more free-to-play news, DCUO will go free-to-play on October 19th. All right, now I need to move on because this is the best part of the video, guys, all right? All you media guys, all you noobs who keep trashing games, right now, you're going to look even worse. I believe this is consecutively now, all right, that you media guys just keep getting your asses kicked, all right? So, video games, apparently, in a study, are improving ADHD. That's right. All right, let's keep going, all right? Study finds that violent games actually lowers crime. So all you media guys keep saying violent games make people violent, it actually lowers crime. It does the exact opposite. All right, now let's move on because apparently there was a survey taken that 82% of people are gamers. So media, please stop trying to cause this divide that gamers are bad and it's taboo to be a gamer, because 82% of them are gamers. All right, now let's move on. As for those who don't know, video games. All right, now you know what? I'll wait. Because remember when the media said in the video how video games, they disrespect the troops, they don't help the troops any? Yeah, well, video games help, what is it? They help post-traumatic stress disorder in military soldiers. So apparently video games are helping the troops. Now let's move on because in more news, Treon Worlds plans Rift Marathon, right? And raises charity for Children's Miracle Network. That's right. They're going to have a 24-hour marathon where you play and charities go to their, their program. And, so this is going to be great. And also, in more news, Mowgli, which is a game coming out, the game actually helps military fight pirates. That's right, pirates. And we're not talking like cyber pirates. No, we're talking about the Yarg type pirates. Yeah, on the boats. All right, so let's get into this, guys. I want to talk about this real quick. It goes to show you, once again, that it's not the gamers this week, but it's the games that have really stepped up and have really kicked some ass, all right? Because it goes to show you that not all games are bad, regardless what the hell the media says, because they don't know what they're talking about anyway. I'm sure we all know this by now, all right? But everything they say, it backfires in their face because they don't do their research. And this is what happens. I'm telling you now, this divide they're trying to cause, slowly but surely, the gap is closing with all this news. And it makes me so much happier to say this, because like I said, when I get all this good news, it makes the video that much fun to do. It really does. Now, I will say this, guys. I need to talk about this real quick, all right? Guys, for those who don't know, last week, I guess since the new law has passed or whatever, YouTube has been coming along as of late and starting to block my videos or monetize more of my videos. Apparently, companies have gotten a little bit of leeway now. And we're talking not new videos, no. We're talking videos from last year. We're talking videos from like 6 or 7 months ago, too. All right? So understand, guys. Now, the event is pretty much under attack. Now, I told you guys before, YouTube is just a jump-off point. So I'm thinking about taking this bigger. I'm thinking about moving to Daily Motion or something like that where I don't have to worry about all that type of stuff. Was it Blip TV? Oh, you guys, you sent me so many different sites where I can go, Vimeo. So many different sites I can go and do this. All right? I'll still do it on YouTube, but I'll also spread it everywhere else. And also, just to let you know, because I told you guys, I'm making this bigger than what it is now. Y'all get ready for that .com. I'm telling you, because this, like I said, this is just a jump off point. This is petty. YouTube, this is petty. All right? It's time to make this bigger. It's time to make this a lot more broader, a lot more wider. Guys, understand this is in motion. Everything that we're doing is in motion week by week. I keep showing you guys, games are doing this, games are doing that, gamers are doing this, gamers are doing that, and they're just kicking ass left and right for what, last 3-4 weeks? I mean, seriously, it's almost like a train that's going downhill. No one's stopping that. No one is stopping that momentum, all right? And I'm sure next week it will be more of the same, video games or video gamers kicking ass. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.
Binary Domain is a squad-based shooter. You play Dan Marshall, part of the Rust crew, an internationally sanctioned military squad sent to infiltrate the isolationist Tokyo of 2080. Somewhere in the city, someone is creating illegal androids called Holochildren. As the line between man and machine has blurred, these robots not only look human and act human, they even think they are human. But their emotional instability can turn lethal in a fraction of a second. The city of today is crumbling against the rising sea levels and high crime. It is run down, derelict, and poor. While high above, a new upper city exists, clean, affluent, and safe. The Rust crew must make their journey through these contrasting environments in search of their foes. The consequence system is the unique core of Binary Domain and central to the experience.
Cover me! I do not agree!
Later on!
This system of artificial intelligence tracks and responds to everything you do, from combat performance to squad conversations in and out of battle.
Your aim is fantastique, monsieur!
Whoa, where did that come from?
It gives you constant feedback on squad attitude.
That went according to plan!
Try pulling some weight around here.
And the squad treat you based on how you have treated them. They don't just do whatever you ask them.
Whip yourself into shape, Dan. Is that the best you can do?
Yeah!
Wow, so much for that reputation of yours.
At the start of most missions, you select who you take with you. You make these decisions based on how their fighting style works with yours and how much they trust you. The level of squad trust is central to the way each mission plays out.
Cover me!
I'm on it!
Gotcha, bro!
Low trust results from putting the squad in situations where they get injured, making inappropriate comments, or issuing bad commands. High trust is built by working with their fighting style and using good tactics.
Target eliminated. Good job!
They'll offer strategies and suggestions, as well as providing more help.
Dan, focus your fire there! Blow his head off!
Fire!
Not gonna happen!
Negative!
In this low-trust situation, Dan's command is ignored.
Good job!
Why are you giving me this sweet talk? It's creepy.
Faye recognizes Dan's comment makes no sense. She says so. While trust is low, your team won't listen, and worse, won't help.
Cover me!
The answer's no!
Negative!
Dan asks for cover. They refuse to give it. They fight uncoordinated on their own. Now, watch the same situation with high trust in the group.
Leave that sniper back there to me.
This time, Faye offers to take out the sniper, which she easily does.
Cover me!
Okay!
I will do so!
Faye and Kane provide cover, allowing Dan to take out the enemies without getting hit. The consequence system doesn't just impact your squad's tactics in battle. It changes the path you take through the story.
I could order you to respond.
Different team members will see different things in the environments and use different tactics to take down the enemies. They require you to adapt to them as much as they respond to you. The way you work together triggers different things in the campaign, so your experience will change depending on who you take with you, how you work with them, and how you perform. Every action, every choice, every word affects everything. This is the consequence system.